Money is one of the most powerful psychological forces in human life. It can make intelligent people behave irrationally, destroy relationships, and trap people in financial stress for decades. And the craziest part? Most people have absolutely no idea it's happening to them. Think about it for a second. Why do people get so emotional about money? Like really emotional? Why does a simple number in a bank account decide whether someone feels confident or completely stressed out? Why do people who earn more money often feel just as broke as before? And why do so many people spend their entire lives chasing money yet never feel financially free? The answer is uncomfortable but fascinating. Money isn't just a financial tool, it's a psychological trigger. Once it enters the picture, the brain starts playing games that most people don't even notice. And one of the first traps people fall into is something that looks completely normal on the surface. A guy gets a raise from $50,000 a year to $70,000. Sounds like a big win, right? But within months, something strange happens. The car gets nicer. The apartment gets bigger. Dinners suddenly get more expensive. Weekend spending starts creeping up. And somehow, even with $20,000 more income, he still feels broke. In the US, there's a phrase for this, keeping up with the Joneses, basically trying to match the lifestyle of everyone around you. But here's the dark twist. The moment people earn more money, they usually don't upgrade their savings, they upgrade their lifestyle. And that's where the psychological loop begins. Every time you buy something new, your brain gives you a tiny reward, a small dopamine hit that says, yeah, that felt good. For a moment, you feel successful, like you're doing well, like you're finally living the good life. But that feeling fades fast. And once it fades, your brain wants another hit, another purchase, another upgrade, another flex. Suddenly, money stops being a tool for freedom and becomes fuel for an endless cycle of spending. And society quietly encourages it. Open social media for 5 minutes and you'll see the same thing over and over. Someone showing off a Lamborghini, someone on a luxury vacation in Dubai, someone wearing a watch that costs more than most people's yearly salary. The message is subtle but powerful. If you're not living like that, you're somehow behind. So people hustle harder, spend more, and push themselves deeper into financial pressure just to look successful. It's wild when you really think about it. Millions of people are chasing the appearance of wealth instead of actual wealth. And while they're busy upgrading their lifestyle, the real players are upgrading their assets. But here's the scary part. That's only the first psychological trap. The next one is even more dangerous because almost everyone falls into it without realizing it. The debt trap and the status race. The dark psychology deepens. If lifestyle upgrades are the first psychological trap, the second one is even more dangerous. Because this one doesn't just change how people spend money, it changes how they think about money entirely. Most people grow up believing that being rich means looking rich. Nice car, designer clothes, expensive watch, big house, the whole "I made it" vibe. And honestly, from the outside, it looks impressive. People see it and think, damn, that person is crushing it. But behind the scenes, a lot of those lifestyles are built on something far less glamorous. Debt. Huge car payments, credit card balances, loans stacked on top of loans. Some people look wealthy, but owe more than they actually own. And this is where the psychology gets interesting, because the moment debt becomes normal, the brain starts doing something strange. It begins treating borrowed money like earned money. Think about this. Imagine someone walks into a store with $5,000 in cash. They think carefully before spending it. Every purchase feels real. Every dollar feels like it's leaving their pocket. Now give that same person a credit card with a $5,000 limit. Suddenly, the spending feels easier, less painful, less real, because the brain doesn't feel the loss immediately. Swiping a card doesn't trigger the same emotional resistance as handing over physical cash. It feels smooth, effortless, almost like free money, even though it's anything but free. And here's the part most people never stop to think about. Banks profit from interest. Companies profit from consumer spending. The entire system quietly benefits when people keep buying more and more. So the pressure to spend is everywhere. Ads telling you that you deserve the upgrade, influencers telling you to treat yourself, friends casually flexing their latest purchases. It all creates a subtle psychological message: spending equals success. And before people even realize it, they're competing in a game that quietly keeps them broke. One person upgrades their car, another upgrades their house, someone else buys luxury clothes just to keep up. Before long, everyone is running in the same race, a lifestyle arms race where everyone is trying to look successful, but very few are actually building real wealth. That's why you'll sometimes see someone making 6 figures a year, yet still living paycheck to paycheck. Because income alone doesn't create wealth, behavior does. The dark psychology here is that status feels powerful in the moment. Driving a flashy car, walking into a room with expensive brands, posting luxury photos online, it gives people a quick rush of validation. For a moment, they feel like they're winning. But that feeling fades fast. And when it fades, the cycle repeats. Bigger purchase, bigger flex, bigger financial pressure. Meanwhile, the people who actually become wealthy are playing a completely different game, a quieter game, one where money isn't used to impress people, it's used to build assets, leverage, and freedom. And once you understand how that game works, the psychology of money starts looking completely different. Escaping the money mindset trap. If most people are trapped by lifestyle inflation and the status game, how do some people escape it completely? Why do a small number of people quietly build real wealth while everyone else keeps running on the same financial treadmill? The answer surprises a lot of people. It's not luck, it's not a secret investment, and it's not even income. The real difference is psychological. Because the moment certain people understand money, they start seeing it completely differently from everyone else. For most people, money is emotional. It's tied to status, validation, comfort, and comparison. A new purchase feels like a reward. A higher salary feels like proof that life is going well. A luxury lifestyle feels like success. But people who eventually build wealth learn to detach those emotions from money decisions. They stop seeing money as something to show off and start seeing it as something to deploy. Think about the difference in thinking. When the average person gets extra money, the first question is usually simple. What can I buy? Maybe a new phone, maybe a better car, maybe a bigger apartment, something that upgrades life immediately. But when someone with a wealth mindset receives extra money, a completely different question appears. How can this money make more money? That one shift changes everything. Instead of consuming the money, they position it. Instead of spending it for status, they invest it for growth. And here's the part that most people underestimate. Wealth rarely grows from dramatic moments. It grows from boring consistency. Imagine someone investing just a few $100s every month. At first, it looks small, nothing impressive, no flashy results. But year after year, something powerful begins happening quietly in the background. Compounding starts stacking on itself. The money begins working harder than the person who invested it. Over time, that quiet discipline snowballs into real financial strength. Meanwhile, money spent on things behaves very differently. A new car eventually loses value. Expensive gadgets become outdated. Luxury purchases slowly fade. Money used for consumption eventually disappears. But money used to buy assets begins working. It produces returns. It multiplies. It creates opportunities and freedom later in life. And this is why truly wealthy people often don't look the way society expects. They're not always driving the loudest car or wearing the flashiest brands. Sometimes they look surprisingly normal, because their goal isn't to look rich, their goal is to be financially free. Once someone understands this psychological shift, the entire game of money changes. Spending stops being the automatic reaction. Delayed gratification becomes natural. Money becomes a tool instead of a trap. And in the end, one realization becomes crystal clear. The loudest displays of wealth often fade the fastest, but the quiet strategy of building assets, that's what creates lasting financial power. If this video changed how you think about money, make sure you subscribe for more content on wealth mindset and financial psychology. And before you go, check out my previous video, 3 Simple Habits That Lower Stress Hormones in Just Hours. It's the perfect next watch.